here with Jeffrey Morris. His film is from his Future Dude Productions company. We're going to talk about that. What a great name. The name of the film is Oceanus, Act 1, and there's more to be said about Act 1 in our discussion. Thank you so much for being here, Jeffrey.
Absolutely.
This is an amazing piece. First of all, I want to talk to you about the amazing cast that you assembled for this. You are a Twin Cities-based filmmaker.
Yes, I am.
You shot Oceanus, Act 1
Yes.
in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Talk to us about putting that cast together. Malcolm McDowell, Sharif Atkins, Megan Dodds, Bruce Davison.
Yep.
Amazing.
So for my first, real attempt at shooting a film like this, I got a shot at working with a great casting agency. So Bialy Thomas Casting.
Okay.
They saw my script, they saw the designs, the production design work and everything. They got behind me and they said, we can get you a great cast, And they said, who would you want ideally if you had a chance to work with anyone you wanted? And I was like, well, I love Bruce Davison. He's one of my favorite actors, right? And so...
Been around forever, over 200 film credits, incredible actor. It's so great that he's one of your favorites. Go on.
No, Bruce Davison's fantastic, right? So they reached out to him, they let him see the script and the designs, and he's like, I'll do it. I was blown away. So literally my first day on a set in Hollywood, I'm working with Bruce Davison, right, which is really cool. And then also I wanted some really good solid actors to work with also. I'd never worked with Megan Dodds before or really seen much about her, but she was just as fantastic. She had a great reel, and I wanted a really credible, strong female lead. Someone who kind of, I wanted kind of a Sigourney Weaver competence and intelligence in this character. So,
but with an emotional range, because we're going to see that from Megan's character in the film.
Absolutely, Megan's fantastic. I mean, she's done some work on a lot of television, CSI. She was also the villain in the movie Ever After. So she's got a little bit of she's got a pedigree, and she's done a lot of theater actually. So she was fantastic. Sharif Atkins was a no-brainer for me because Sharif was I loved him on the show ER back in the 1990s. He played Michael, who was the intern, and I just think Sharif is just a great actor. So I wanted a chance to work with him.
He commands a presence on screen.
He does, and so I was able to get him as well. And so really, Sharif, Megan, and I, we developed a really solid rapport, and we were able to really work together on that set. And it was a very confined set, a very small, and we pulled it off, I feel like.
You absolutely did, and let's talk about one other talent that you have in the film. We don't even see him. Malcolm McDowell, everyone knows who he is. You got his interest in this project with his voice only, and not only just him, but this amazing cast hopped on board with you to shoot an Act 1, which is, in our terms, a short film. That is a feat in of itself, and it's your first film. So talk to us about your work with Malcolm, and then where else we're going to see Malcolm's work as it relates to yours.
Sure. So the thing that happened with Malcolm, I felt like the movie, once I put it together, I was like, this is making sense, but I feel like there are questions the audience might have. And there were spaces where I felt like we could add a computer voice, and kind of a Star Trek style computer that interface. And I went back and did some writing with my wife, and we actually developed this kind of computer character. And we were like, we need an actor. And I didn't want to do the typical stereotypical kind of female voice for a computer. I was like, what about a British actor? What about somebody who has some gravitas or something? So I was like, what about Malcolm McDowell? And I talked to the casting people, and they're like, let's see if he'll do it. So he took a look at what we'd shot already and looked at it, and he's like, sure, I'll do it. So he came out, and so I actually got to work with Malcolm McDowell in the recording studio, and I directed him for a couple of hours that day, and we spent an afternoon together. You can see our photos of me and him on our social media.
Okay.
And I got to work with him, and then he liked the project so much. It was really interesting. He was in the booth, and he was looking at the film. He's like, this looks pretty good. It was really exciting. And I was like, thank you. And so he actually wrote the foreword for the graphic novel of Oceanus, Act 1, as well. And he'll be coming back to do a lot more computer voice work for the full feature. We go into production on the feature in the spring, and we actually wrote a lot more for him.
Of course, that's fantastic. Now you went into that illusion. We were going to talk about beyond Act 1, but I want to talk to you as a filmmaker about this movie. This is a large theme movie in terms of the scope. There's a global catastrophe happening, but it also explores themes about people. Talk about that.
Well, one of the things that I feel is missing in a lot of science fiction blockbusters these days are really solid characters. And lots of action, lots of explosions, lots of special effects, computer-generated stuff. But the character stuff that I really grew up loving back in the 1970s. I liked a lot of those older science fiction films that were really thematically strong, and they really got into ideas and got into character development, that sort of thing. Maybe a little slower in their pace, which I intentionally did with Oceanus. I got another project called Parallel Man, which is much more contemporary.
Yes, we're going to talk about that too.
It kicks along very quickly, but
Yep.
Oceanus, I wanted to do it as more of a slow burn, a little bit more time to see the visual effects, see the performances, see the, you know. So at the core, my wife and I, Kimberly, we wanted to write a film that was more about these two characters, and we wanted to take this sort of relationship dynamic and flip it on its ear. You know, and the kind of the stereotypical thing where you have the aloof male and the woman pining for him. We wanted to flip it the other way, and so we built a story around that, and I think it works. I think it works. The actors really enjoyed that, and we got to work with them. I actually worked with them quite a bit on the set. We went beyond the script, and I gave them a chance to kind of add their own 2 cents to it. So.
And within that character development, we're underwater, and these amazing capsules and vessels that we're in. Talk to us as a first-time filmmaker, how you made all that come together and executed that, because that's an undertaking.
Sure. Well, what happened was we actually designed I worked on the designs for the sets while we were working on the script. Okay, so like as we designed the actual film itself, broke it down, actually tried to make sure the set and the exteriors were going to work along with it. So they were all done simultaneously, and I've actually been doing that with the full feature as well. But what happened was we actually shot this against a blue screen, and we did some things where we used a lot of old lighting techniques, a lot of reflective lighting in this to actually fake the effect that we're underwater, right? And then that combined with some fantastic computer-generated effects by this guy named Tobias Richter. He's a company called the Lightworks. They're out of Germany, and I've been a fan of his for a long time. He's done a lot of Star Trek fan films and video games and stuff. So anyway, I brought him in, and then Tobias and I really worked out a scheme to figure out how to do the visual effects in a way. And there's another guy named Ryan Weber, who's just a genius with visual effects. So between Tobias, Ryan, and myself, we kind of figured out a scheme to how to make this seem like it was actually underwater. We were never near actual water. We were always in a soundstage in Marina del Rey. But
it certainly feels like we are, though. So you've achieved that. Now, we alluded to this is Oceanus Act 1. Yes. There's more to come.
Yes.
Tell us all about that.
Okay.
Act 1 is now available on Blu-ray and for purchase on YouTube, so we can see it there. But tell us what the future of Oceanus is.
Sure. So so I'll announce it here. Okay, we just officially determined our course on this. So the full feature is called Oceanus Odyssey 1. That's the name of the full film. And so Odyssey 1 is it's going to pick up right where Act 1 left off, and it's going to be at least another 60 to 90 minutes long. You know, so we'll have a full feature between 90 and 120 minutes. You know, depending on kind of what happens with our full, visual effects.
Amazing. So this is the first time you've released this out in terms of being social about it and telling this information. You're hearing it first at the 2015 Twin Cities Film Fest here. Wow, that's incredible news. Now, tell us where we can find you, your Future Dude Productions work. You've got a blog going, and tell us more about that graphic novel.
Okay, so if you go to futuredude.com, so it initially, while I was developing this company, I was doing a blog under the moniker of Future Dude, and I wanted to blog about science, education, the future, movies, things that I care about that I think are interesting. I feel like a lot of the stuff that goes on in social media around sci-fi, they mix so many different things together, it kind of gets confusing. So what I did with our stuff was I tried to clean it up and keep it very simple. So that's what Future Dude was about. Then we built it into our new web presence. So what we've got are we're selling mobile device games. We actually have a free mobile device game for Parallel Man, which is our other project. We've got a trade paperback collected edition for that. Oceanus graphic novel. You can download the Oceanus from Vimeo, Amazon, and iTunes, and get the Blu-ray from Amazon as well. So we've got a bunch of products. FutureDude.com is the place to find everything we're doing.
Perfect. And your audience can see episodes of Parallel Man, which is going to explore many of the same themes that are right in your wheelhouse, but it's animated.
Yes, yeah. So Parallel Man is an animated piece that stars the voices of John Cho from Star Trek and Harold and Kumar. We also had Ming-Na Wen from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and then also Lance Reddick. So I got to work with the same. We did Parallel Man simultaneously while I was working on Oceanus. So yeah, so it was Parallel Man's a fantastic project. It had a great team.
It is.
So we're going to be talking to Cartoon Network soon, and we'll see what happens with that. So.
Amazing, and it's okay for audiences to know that Parallel Man is available. All of its episodes
it's all free.
From your Future Dude Productions page on YouTube.
Yep.
Awesome. Yep. Jeffrey, we need to get you in here. Our conversation's been amazing. Jeffrey Morris, his film Oceanus Act 1 screening here at the 2015 Twin Cities Film Fest as part of our Inner Space, Outer Space Shorts block. We're going to see you again. Thank you for watching.